So, when we talk about multiplying binomials, this foil is going to make a lot more sense in about 5 minutes. Okay? So, multiplying binomials. Okay? So remember, a binomial is a polynomial with just two terms. Okay? That's the bi part of it. So, what happens when you multiply two binomials? If we have like x plus 2, that's one binomial, and x plus 3, another binomial. We kind of use the distribution property, but like with each term in the binomial, okay? And to do that, we use FOIL. Okay? So FOIL is an acronym. It stands for first, outer, inner, last. All right? Everyone say it. First, outer, inner, last. All together now. First, outer, everyone, inner, last. FOIL. It's going to help you with multiplying these binomials, okay? So if we were to do, so yes, it has FOIL written there for you. Just write down first, outer, inner, last for the acronym, okay? So what does that mean though in practice? Let's do it by color here. So we'll go blue, green, orange, that's purple. Oh, wait, no, red. I can tell the difference between those two. Red. There we go. Okay, perfect. So blue for first, you want to multiply the first term of each binomial, okay? So the first term of each binomial. So here we have the x multiplied by the x. Okay? So we have x times x, which is, what's x times x? Yep. X squared. Okay? Outer, green. So then you do the first one to the far outside. Okay, because you're going to do the outside of both of the whole thing, okay? You do the first one for each, the outside of everything. Okay, so that'll be plus x times, make sure I do this well for you guys. X times 3. So that's just 3x. Then we did orange. Is that orange? I don't know. Then we're going to do inner. Okay? So which do you think inner is going to be? So inner is just the two ones that are on the inside. So we say the outside terms. Now we're going to do the two inside. It would be these two. Be plus 2 times x, which is 2x. And then the last two that you haven't multiplied together yet. 2 times 3. So you have your first, outer, inner, last. Okay, so you multiply the first two together, the outside two together, the inside two together, and then the last two together. Okay, does that make sense? Everyone okay with first, outer, inner, last? And then we can just simplify that. So that would be your final answer. Because we have two like terms in the middle here. Okay, we have a 3x and a 2x, so we can add those together to get 5x. Okay? So FOIL, first, outer, inner, last. Okay? Do the first two terms of each binomial, the outer two terms, the inner two terms, and then the last two terms. Okay? FOIL, you're going to get good at that over the next couple of days. Okay, everyone ready to try another one? It means to multiply out using FOIL, and then simplify, we're going to collect like terms. Okay, so going to FOIL it up, and then like terms. Okay, so we just did x plus 2, x plus 3. Now we're kind of doing the opposite, x minus 3, x plus 2, or x minus 2. Okay, so we're going to multiply our first two together. The x and the x, which is just x squared. Okay, then you're going to do your outside two. So we have positive x times negative 2. What's that going to be? Positive x times negative 2. Perfect, negative 2x. Okay. So it's important when you're multiplying them together, make sure you look at that operation that's in front of it. If it's addition, they're all going to be positive. If it's subtraction, it's going to be negative. Okay, unless you have a negative, unless your first term is negative 2, then you have negative times negative, becomes positive. Right? Okay. Now, inner. Negative 3x times x minus 3x. There's a minus. That's just even worse. Then our last two of each. Negative 3 times negative 2. Negative times negative is positive. And then 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, so that was the expand part. And now to simplify, what do we do? What are our like terms? Yeah, Leila?
Negative 3x and negative 2x.
Perfect. So negative 2x, negative 3x are the same. They both have 1x. So then what are they going to simplify down to? You have minus 2, minus 3, which is negative 5x. Perfect. Squared. Okay, and that was the simplify. I think I might spell that wrong. Did I? Yeah. There. Okay. So you do the first two together, the outside two together, the inside two, and then the last two. Okay, how's everyone feeling? Okay. Oh, this one, that's worse. Okay, we'll do this one together. Okay, so 4x minus 5 times 3x plus 1. So this time, instead of just having x, we have a coefficient with x. But just multiply the coefficients together and multiply the variables together, okay? Same thing, just adding a number out in front. So here, we're going to have 4x times 3x. Okay? This takes all this term times all this term. And then multiply the coefficients together, multiply the numbers together, and multiply the variables together. Okay, so that'll give us 4 times 3, which is 12, with x times x, which is x squared. Okay? If you have to break it down into these steps, totally fine. If you skip right from 4x and 3x right down to 12x squared, also fine. Okay, so that's our first. Our outers are 4x times 1, which would be 4x. You remember, bring that negative with it, so it's negative 5 times 3x. So it'll be negative 15. X, because we're just multiplying the numbers together. You leave the x there. And the whole negative 5 over. Minus 5 times 1, which is just minus 5. Okay, so remember, even with like distribution property, it's kind of the same thing. If you have like a negative 5 or a negative 3 or a negative x, bring the negative with the number. Multiply, okay? Okay, and then are we done? So almost, you need to simplify these two together because they're both like terms. Okay, so we'll still have our 12x squared and our negative 5. But then 4x minus 15x. Keep the x there, just subtract the numbers. 4 minus 15 is minus 11. And then now you're done. Okay. Okay. So 3x minus 4 all squared. Does this mean we're going to square 3x and then square 4? No, with that math, you'd have to simplify inside the bracket first and then square the outside. We can't simplify the inside though because we don't know what x is. Okay, so just like x squared is x times x. right? If we have 3x minus 4 squared, that's going to be, oops, three x minus 4 times another 3x minus 4. Okay? So you just take whatever's in the bracket and multiply it by itself. Does that make sense? Okay, and now we can use FOIL. They go first, outer, and our last. Why don't you guys try this on your own, okay? So multiply the first one together, the outside two together, the inside two, and then the last two. All right? Give it a try on your own, and then we'll take it up on the board. So 3x times 3x. 3x. Then do that one. 3x times -4. Do those two. Plus -4. Actually, let's go negative right away. -4 times 3x. -4 times -4 for your last one. Okay? So even if you just remember FOIL, even if you don't remember the exact order, if you go FOIL, there's 4 letters in FOIL. So you should multiply 4 different things together. Okay? So then what we get, 9x squared minus 12x minus 12x. And -4 times -4 is positive 16. Now, a lot of people want to cancel out these -12s, but they don't cancel out. They only cancel out if it's a positive and a negative. Because you'll have positive 12 minus 12 equals 0. But when you go -12 minus -12, you go even further down, right? Further negative. So, like, say if I was $12 in debt, and then I take out another $12 as a loan, did I just cancel out my loan? No, I just went more in the hole, right? So you can think of it as money. If you're down $12, you take out another $12, you're down 24 altogether. Oh, what happened there? Stop it. What are you doing? Oh. Gonna just what are you? Something down? Sorry, minor technical difficulties. So that's -24x plus 16. Okay, so that'll be your final answer. 9 squared minus 24x plus 16. Okay, now, if you have a monomial, you can multiply by 2 binomials. So say you have the 3 out in front of the x minus 4 for the very end. And don't worry about it. We'll multiply everything by 3 at the end. we'll have 3 just sitting out here. Use some square brackets. Just say we'll leave that for later. By those two, inside last, okay? So our first is x times x squared, or times 2x. So because there's no coefficient with our first x here, we just have 2. Then x times x is x squared. Okay, with our outer ones, we have x plus 5y times plus 5y, so that would just be plus 5x and y. Okay, they're 2 separate variables, so we have to leave them as separate variables, okay? And then we usually just go in alphabetical order for the variables, okay? So we have x and y, x goes first, y goes second. Okay, if you were to have x, y, z, you'd have x, then y, then z. Z, we're Canadian, not American. My bad. Okay. So we have negative 4y times 2x. So we'll multiply our coefficients together. That would be negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. X and y. So negative 4y plus or times 5y positive. So the whole thing will be negative. 4 times 5 is 20 y squared. Okay. So if you have different letters with them, it's okay, just leave the different variables together and just multiply them. Okay, but we still have 2 like terms, or 2 terms on the inside, have both x and y, so we can add them together, but we can't add them with the x squared or the y squared, okay? So I'll have 3 different terms in there, or a trinomial. Okay, still leave the 3 out front, don't worry about that yet. 2x squared. What's 5 minus 8? Negative, sorry, what?
Negative 3.
3, perfect. Negative 3 xy minus 20 y squared. Okay, and can we simplify like inside the brackets anymore? Give any more like terms? No. So now we'll multiply into 3, okay? Now let's use distribution. Multiply it in. 6x squared minus 9xy minus 60 y squared. Okay, I think so. There. So you have 6x squared minus 9xy minus 60y squared. Everyone feeling okay with that? So same thing, except you just multiply it by the number in front of the variable. So here again, we have a number out front, and we're going to make this into multiplying and binomial together. Okay? So remember, if it's negative 3 or x minus 3 squared, we're just multiplying x minus 3 together with itself. Okay, so we'll have negative 5. Just keep that out front for the very end. times x minus 3 times x minus 3. Okay, because the square just means that we're multiplying whatever inside the bracket by itself twice. 1, 2. Okay, next line, 5. Leave that 5 out there. X times x squared, minus 3. Oh, no, that's not what we're going to do yet. Go first and then outer. X times negative 3x. Negative 3x, or sorry, x times negative 3 is negative 3x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. 3 times 3, well, negative would become positive 9. Simplify the inside. We have our two middle terms are like terms. Negative 3 minus 3. I owe my dad $3. I asked him for another $3. I now owe him $6. Okay. Having $3 in debt to him and then asking for another 3 doesn't erase the debt. Just puts me more in debt. Okay, and now we distribute in that negative 5. Our final answer, negative 5x squared plus 30x, because we have a negative and a negative, minus 45. Remember, it says simplify, so we're not actually finding out what x is. We're putting it down far enough so that most of the time it's going to be a trinomial. Okay, well, you'll have 3 terms after multiplying the binomial. Okay, we got one more, and then I'll give you the rest of the time to work on some homework questions, okay? Okay, so here we're multiplying two binomials, like multiplying 2 sets of binomials. Okay? So we have binomials that we're multiplying here. We have 9 minus 3m plus 3, and the 7m minus 1m plus 6. Okay, so we're going to multiply them together, simplify everything as much as we can. And then because it's all m, we're going to group together by like terms and simplify a little bit more. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit of a long one, but it's the same process for both sides. And then finally, it's just a little bit shorter. So 2 m times m. Whoops. Is m squared. M times positive 3 is positive 3m. Why'd you do that? Minus 3 times m. Minus 3. Minus 3 times minus 3 is negative 9. Brackets, okay? So we're not multiplying the 2 by everything. We're only multiplying the 2 by this binomial. Since that's the only one that's actually separated by a negative sign. Okay? Minus, and then throw all this in brackets. Because we're going to have to distribute out that negative sign. Okay, so we're going to end up flipping all the signs. But again, wait till the end to do that. 7m times m is 7m squared.
7m times 6 plus 42m, if my math is right. Yep. Minus 1 times m, just be negative 1m or negative m. Negative 1 times positive 6, negative 6.
Now we're going to simplify it.
Okay, so you have 2 m squared.
What's 3m minus m? Okay, our like terms are here. Positive 3 minus 3 is 0. So here they're going to cancel out. And we're going to talk about this, I forget if it's tomorrow or Wednesday, but we're going to talk about that kind of special product as well as the squares that we've been doing before.
Okay, there's a special rule that you can do that one kind of right away. Minus 7m squared plus 41m minus 6.
Because positive 42m minus 1m is 41. Okay, because you just have 42 minus 1. Keep the m's consistent.
Now we can distribute. And remember, you got to distribute the negative out too. So we'll have 2m squared. There we go. Minus 18 minus 7m squared minus 41m plus 6.
Okay, so that negative is just going to change the sign on the whole. Are we done? No, we still have some like terms. We have the m squares and we have our constants. Well, I think I'm playing the wrong one, but
We have m squares and constants. Okay, so it'll be equal to 2m squared minus 7m squared. Just m squared, and then 2 minus 7 is minus 5. Put the negative 41m next.
because we kind of ordered them by decreasing order number, okay? We put the squared first, then the ones that are 1, then the constant.
Which in this case is 18, negative 18 plus 6, which would be minus 12.